Hey there. Today we're going to be covering farming on Mars V2. We're going to show three different examples: how to LP into a simple farm, how to LP into a farm using a custom ratio, and how to do leverage with a farm. The last thing we'll cover as well is how to exit out of your farm position. Let's jump right in. So the first thing you want to do is you want to head to the Earn tab on app.marsprotocol.io and then select the Farm tab. This will show us all of the available farms that we can jump into. With our account, we currently have USDC and Osmo, about $8-ish worth of value. And so we are going to select the Osmo USDC vault. So we'll click deposit and it'll bring this tab up. In this tab, we can also see our balances. We see USDC and we see Osmo, and we can select how much we want to deposit into the farm. Since we're not doing custom ratio at the moment, as I drag this slider to the right, there will be an equal deposit of Osmo and USDC into the farm. Let's check that out. So if I go to, let's say, 25%, 26-ish, 25, we see that we now have this Osmo USDC farm position here. And we also see that our USDC and our Osmo balance has decreased. The more that I slide the more that the slider goes to the right, our farm position increases and our balances for USDC and Osmos decreases. You can also note that the health bar is 100% healthy. And the reason for this is because we're not taking any leverage, right? We are just entering into a farm, similar to how you would enter into a farm on osmosis and deposit into the Osmo USDC pool, right? So we'll continue. In this example, we're not going to borrow anything because we're just entering into a simple farm without leverage. So nothing to borrow, and we'll deposit. Pending transaction. Signing the transaction. And there it goes. So now we see that we have this Osmo USDC farm position. And if we go to our right slider here, we see our new balances for USDC and Osmo, and then we also see this farm position. With credit accounts, you can use the entire value of your position as collateral to do things like trading, etc., which means that now you can trade using this farm as collateral, right? We'll walk through this specific example in a later video where we talk about cross-collateralized strategies. All right, so we have this farm vault position now, and we can see that we can deposit more or we can unlock to withdraw the position. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to enter into a vault using a custom ratio. So let's just select the Osmo WETH vault, deposit, and I don't have any WETH in my balance. All right, I only have USDC and Osmo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this custom ratio, and I'm going to leave this at 0. I don't want to deposit any WETH into this farm. I just want to deposit Osmo. So let's say I just deposit 2 Osmo since I don't have much to play with. We see down here that the value of our Osmo is decreasing, and we have this new farm position opening up, this Osmo WETH position, right? So we'll continue. We won't select any assets to borrow. We're not using leverage in this example. Our account health remains at 100%, and we'll just deposit. Pending transaction. Approving the transaction. And success. There it goes. So now we should have 2 farm positions, right? We have our Osmo WETH position and our Osmo USDC position, which can be used as collateral, and we see our positions down here. So now we're going to discuss leverage. So Mars V2 allows you to take leverage with your farms. This means that you're essentially borrowing an asset, and with those borrowed funds, you can then gain more exposure to the farm, right? So for this example, we're going to do the ST Atom pool. Actually, let's do Osmo Atom. So we'll head to the trade page first to quickly get some Osmo, since we'll be doing a 50-50 farm. We'll sell some of our Osmo. We'll get some Atom. Let's just sell roughly 50% of what we have, and we'll buy Atom very quickly. Approving the transaction. And there it goes. So now our balance should show some Atom, right? We have some Atom, we have some Osmo, and we have our farms. So if we go to the Earn tab under Farm, we can now enter into our Osmo Atom farm. So let's deposit. And we're not doing a custom ratio in this example. We're just going to do a simple LP. So let's say I do 50%, right? What does that do to my balance? My balance of Osmo decreases, my balance of Osmo decreases, and now I have this new farm position, this Osmo Atom farm. Let's continue. In this example, we are going to use leverage. So we can borrow some Atom, and if you select assets, you can also see that you can borrow other assets as well. You can borrow assets that are within the liquidity pool, so Atom or Osmo, or you can borrow, for instance, USDC. So I think I'll select USDC so my debt can be denominated in a stable coin, and therefore I don't have to worry about it fluctuating too much. So I can select the asset, and I can select how much I want to borrow. And note, you can select multiple assets to borrow as well, right? So let's just do USDC. Let's say I want to borrow 50% of what I'm able to borrow. So what you'll see down here is we now have a new USDC debt, right? It's $9.71, much more than I was able to do without leverage. And we also see that our Osmo Atom farm is increasing, right? So if I have it at 0, my Osmo Atom farm without leverage is 59 cents. If I increase the leverage or the amount that I'm borrowing, we see that our Osmo Atom farm is about $10 now, but we do have this USDC debt of $9.71, right? And another thing to note is your account health. So the more you borrow, the less healthy your account becomes, right? If I borrow 75%, if I increase it to, let's say, 90%, I'm really running some risk here, right? Because my account can be liquidated if I'm not able to pay my USDC balance in time, etc. And we can also see that if we decrease the amount we borrow, let's say, I don't know, 12% or 10%, our account is pretty healthy, right? So we'll just borrow, let's say, 25%. We have this debt of almost $5, and we have more leverage in our farm now. So let's deposit. Approve the transaction. Great. Our transaction was successful. And so now we see that our health has changed because we are taking leverage. And we also see that we have this debt now, this USDC debt. And now we also have our new farm, our Osmo Atom farm, right? And you can deposit more, or you can unlock to withdraw. What I want to do now is head to the Borrow tab. If we head to the Borrow tab, we actually see our debt here, right? We borrowed $485 of USDC, about $5. And we can repay our debt here. I discussed repaying debt in a previous tutorial, and I also will discuss repaying debt in the next tutorial as well on lending and farming, so you can stay tuned to that. So the last thing we want to do in this tutorial is we want to head to the Earn tab and go to the Farm page again. And now we just want to unlock our vault, right? So we can select any vault. Let's say we do the Osmo WETH vault, and we select unlock to withdraw. So you're going to be prompted here that the unlocking period will take 14 days. So let's agree to this. Approve our transaction. And there we go. We have now started the unlocking process for our vault, and we can see that here. We have 13 days and 23 hours remaining, roughly. And if you want to learn more about farms or farming and vaults, etc., you can head over to the docs on docs.marsprotocol.io, and there's 2 tabs to look out for. So the first one is on Mars. You go to the Learn tab, you go to Mars V2, and you can learn all about the background and the technical details of how farms work and how leverage farming works. If you want a step-by-step tutorial, you can head to the tutorial tab. You can go to farming, and here you'll have all of the tutorials you'll need: how to LP farm into a simple farm, how to farm with a custom ratio, how to leverage yield farm, and how to unlock your farming vaults, right? So yeah, that's about it for this tutorial.